And welcome to the LV Home Experts Radio Show, where we talk about real estate and financing. I am your host, Chakits Kruksawat with Simply Vegas, and I got the man, the king of all kings, the myth of all myths, when it comes to financing, the legend himself, Dan French with Guarantee Ray. What up, my man?
That's an impressive intro, Chuck. You got some energy on that one, man.
I know. I had to bring the energy. You know what? I brought it. That's what I do. How was your week? I haven't seen you for a while.
Week's great, man.
What have you been up to?
Movies.
Movies.
We always go to the movies. Everybody wants to do that.
What movie did you watch?
We've seen a couple recently. One of the movies we saw, which is kind of crazy. Have you seen? We didn't go to the movies on this one, but we've been kind of like interested in this movie, and everybody's like kind of got mixed reviews on it. The Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Yeah, it's on.
Is it like a Disney
Netflix.
show?
No, it's on Netflix.
Oh, is that the one where, my wife was telling me about that?
Yeah, it's dubbed, but it's like I never watched dub movies.
Is this something like where they have addiction or something?
It's a show. I mean, it's not a show, but it's like a series, right? So like They got like episode 1, 2, 3. But
is it actually that addicting?
I don't know if it's addicting. I think my girl and my family got into it more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was that addicting, but I mean, it was good.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was something that I haven't watched something like that in a long time. So I watched a few of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So today, folks, we are going to get straight into the housing market and what's going on as far as the statistics and the breakdown. The market has shifted pretty dramatically. It's like all over the board. So this is where you're going to hear it first, exactly what's going on with the housing market here in Las Vegas. So what's going on around the country, man?
Well, we know shipping cargo containers, Long Beach, they're backed up, and also truck drivers and people getting their materials and getting their goods is backed up. I've seen numerous reports they don't have enough people.
Yeah.
Truck drivers working extra shifts, extra hours. Some of those people are making $2,000 to $3,000 a week.
Wow, I seen the CEO. I think they came on the CEO of the shipping place, the dock. Yeah. Apparently, that port right there supplies about 40. I think it was like 45, maybe 43% of our economy.
The whole economy.
And basically, the crazy part is that they have like 50,000 ships just like parked from shore.
Yeah.
And they can't get enough supplies in. I guess it's getting bottlenecked or something like that, right? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and also just the overall workers, and also just the whole production is about 60 to 70% capacity right now. That's what they're working at. They don't have enough people, and they don't have enough materials and things, and everything really is just kind of slowed down. So I don't know. I mean,
is it because the demand is so high?
The demand is very high.
So basically, when we had that coronavirus, everybody kind of just like bought everything, and next thing you know, they need more supplies, and they just can't produce enough. Yeah, is that why it's probably bottlenecking right there?
Yeah, it's worse than pre-COVID now. So pre-COVID they had issues, but I mean, obviously, when you look at it now, it's like pre-COVID, you had a lot of people that were working, obviously, when it's pre-COVID. But when you look at the data and the numbers that's going on, I don't see anybody getting motivated to go back to work. Now, you look at even asking some of these workers to work extra hours.
Yeah.
Still ain't going to solve the problem.
No.
So we got a big issue.
Big time.
People need to go back to work. And I think because the demand is so high, so in such a short window of time, it's really making it even a worse problem.
And not only that, that's what's going to force pricing to go up even higher. Just due to the fact that
inflation's a problem.
Yeah. People want like certain things like cars. I was looking at cars, man. They're up like 19%, dude.
I remember buying a flank steak that you could feed a family. Like it was like one of those flank steaks, $16, right?
How much is it now?
$25.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Dude, it's $10 difference. That's almost
that's like a bag.
100. What's that?
That's like a bag.
It's like a bag.
You remember back in the day?
$25. That's $10 more for a steak, man. Same steak. That was like not even maybe a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. That just tells you right there.
I mean, everything's getting expensive. What else you got going on?
Nothing. I mean, I was going to talk a little bit about inflation and the problems that they see with that, but I mean, we can go into that in a little bit. But I think we're well above double the amount of where we should be right now. And some of the data that's come out, it's not going anywhere. I mean, the Fed is probably a little bit worried about it, to be honest with you.
Are you pretty familiar with iBuyers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you want to kind of explain what an iBuyer is to the audience before I get into this?
Well, an iBuyer is somebody that just finds they're really a platform to go online and buy directly to that platform or through that platform, make an offer through a house. Redfin actually came out and stated that they'll give a full property tour now through their platform. And what they're doing is they're trying to bypass the realtor.
Yeah. So basically with the iBuyers, you got companies like Open Door and Zillow. Those are the main iBuyers. And what they'll do is reach on out to the sellers to see if they would be interested in selling the home for a price reduction, right? And it's a pretty decent price reduction. Yeah. But a lot of the sellers will sell because they can just literally, just move out of the house and they don't have to deal with the headaches. But at the end of the day, they're going to lose a little bit more money. This is what I found fascinating. The other day, I was looking for some properties in a certain zip code, the tour, right? And I noticed that Zillow owned about like 8 properties, and in that zip code, which is kind of fascinating, right? But what was crazy later on that night, there was an article that came out that I was reading that there was a TikToker. He's also a real estate agent here. I totally forgot his name, but I wish I had his name so I can give a quick shout out on the show because he deserves it. And he was talking, right? And he made a great point about how iBuyers, they can actually force the appreciation up, where they would actually buy homes in a certain area, right? And they would force the appreciation up. So I started thinking, like, this makes sense because I literally seen like 8 to 10 homes in one zip code. So if they were buying it at 300,000, right? They bought it at 300,000. What happens if they bought 10 homes at 300,000 and on the last home, or they had another entity that they owned, sold it automatically to themselves for like 350 or 400? So now they just set the comps for that whole neighborhood or that zip code. Now they can just throw it back on the market and sell it to a regular buyer, right? And the buyer is going to use the comps, or the appraiser is going to use those comps. So basically, let's say you bought 10 homes.
So basically what you're saying is you're driving up that market. That
exactly.
Area, and artificially doing it, but doing it in a legal way.
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
But let me ask you this question. Yeah. What is the motive, though, for them to hold on to that property? Let me explain, because you're looking at, okay, you're driving it to 450.
350, let's just say.
Let's say 350.
Yeah.
They can buy that property from somebody, but why would somebody go in the position of saying, I'm just going to lose that much money? Because you know they're going to come in that low.
Yeah, because here's the thing. What happens is, and we had this case where we had a client from Hawaii. He bought a home out in the Northwest and wanted to buy in Summerlin. He decided that he wanted to go with the iBuyer just due to the fact that it was just more of a convenience thing. But you're going to lose more money versus just hiring an agent, because what happens is they're going to go out there and they'll submit an offer, but they have to review it, right? But what they're doing is they're not really making that much money on the deal, but what they're doing is they're making their money by the volume. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but do you think that iBuyers are actually they're really popular because of this market? I'll give you an example of why I'm saying that is, if you're a person out there that just wants to sell, it's a convenience thing, and we're in a world of convenience. Like, everybody in this world doesn't want to put in the extra work, the extra effort, in my opinion. They're already getting a significant amount of money just because the market's gone up so high in such a quick window. What if this market wasn't that way? Would iBuyers be that attractive? Because now you're saying, you know what? It's not just, hey, I'm happy with getting what I'm getting because it's gone up so quick, so fast.
Yeah.
I think it's like, well, if this market is going to stay the way it is, then iBuyers are going to be popular. But let's say it goes back to the old traditional way where you have to sell your house and you want to make the most profit because you're not in an appreciating market the way we are now, and you're not seeing the gains that you saw. Like, maybe you only have, 15 or 20% equity versus you have 50% equity because of the demand of what's going on with the supply. I think in a market like that, iBuyers are attractive. But if you go the other direction, I don't think they're attractive in a market where you're trying to maximize those dollars and the appreciation in homes is very slow.
Well, it'd be the same thing if you were like a wholesaler or you would be a flipper, right? So basically, you'd probably find those type of properties that needed some work. Then you would have an agent that, specializes in selling those type of properties where they can go in and fix the home and they can actually make an acquisition right off that deal. So I don't think it really matters on the market conditions. What I'm concerned about is the taking advantage and forcing the appreciation to go up.
Correct.
When it should be naturally. But I want to get into the housing market and what's going on. So we're going to start off with single family residents. I know today's show may be a little bit boring, but it's more statistics and numbers than anything. I really want to get you guys caught up to the Las Vegas housing market because it's been very hectic and crazy out there right now. So if we take a look as far as what is currently active, and this is just for single family residents, detached home, there's only 3,290 homes that are currently available. Now, if we take a look at the median price point for a home today is at $405,000. What do you get? 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, minimum of 1,856 square feet across the valley. Keep that in mind. Now, what does that come out to? $2. $2.
$2 a square foot.
Everybody buy now. No, it's $225 a square foot with an average days on the market. Now, this is what we find very fascinating from a year ago, from year to date, right? The median price point for a home was $345. $345,000, I'm sorry, at $183 a square foot. And that was at 14 days on the market. But if we take a look, that is up about 15%. 15%, 12 months. So basically, every month it goes up about 1%.
Yeah.
So what that tells you is that you're basically losing your purchasing power and you're chasing the market should you happen to purchase a home.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another thing I want to get into is townhomes, okay? Because if people can't really afford to get into a
townhome,
a house, they want to get into a townhome. So if we look in today's market for the median price point for a townhome across the valley, it's $295,500. Okay, what do you get? 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,339 square feet at $206 a square foot with an average days on the market. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
No, what do you think? I asked you how many days on the market.
Oh, what do I think? How many days?
Yeah, you guess.
I would say 6 days.
Okay, 8 days.
8 days.
Okay.
I was looking this up and I was trying to think because I was looking at this data.
Okay.
So I was trying to think, was it that?
Okay, I want you to pay attention to me now.
I'm listening to you.
Because you're getting tested right now.
Okay, this is the test.
Now, from year to date, if we actually take a look, right, the median price point for a townhome was $237,500 at $170 a square foot. Average days on the market, that was 18 days. You know how much we've gone up from year to date?
You said it's 237? I would say it's at 285.
Well, no. It's 295. We've gone up 20%.
Dang.
I don't know if I'm just dropping too much statistics because if I'm confusing you, I'm probably confusing the audience. So I do apologize. But this number this data is very important, okay? Now, the other thing that we need to take a look at is condos. So condos, the median price point that has sold for a condo in today's market as of today is $204,000. Okay. What can you buy for a condo? What can you get? 1,047 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, right? At $199 a square foot. Average days on the market is 9 days. If we go back 12 months, let's just say, you could have bought a condo back then 12 months ago at $160,000 at $176 a square foot. But the average days on the market was 31 days.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty long. I mean, that's good back then, right? Because normally it takes about 60 to 90 days to sell a home. But, I mean, 31 days is still great. However, that's gone up 12%. 12%.
Everything's gone up.
Yeah, I mean, everything has gone up.
Across the board
It's getting very expensive.
Yeah.
So now the question is, like, what is going on with the new homes, right? So if we take a look at new homes, believe it or not, about 3 weeks ago when we were doing our show, it was very hard to even get into a home. You literally had to wait in line, right, to buy a brand new home.
Right.
That is not the case anymore, okay? It depends on location, also depending on the price point, right? Okay. Because the price point determines the demographics of the income level. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is if we look at homes around the 400 range, the 450 range, which builder out there, right, is making a ton of money, right? Because each builder specializes in a certain demographic.
Don't you always have those low-end builders? And I'm just going to throw a couple out that I might think, but it's like Beazer or KB.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to is that the builders that are building at that price point, they're hitting home runs all day today.
Wow.
Right? So you do have like KB Homes, and KB Homes right now, you literally got to get in a waiting list, and it's a drawing, right?
Oh, we're back to that again.
Oh,
or is it always been?
No, it's always been like that. Okay. But it's still like that with KB Homes.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Because of their demographics, of their income level, and that's their audience that they target. So that makes sense for them. Mm-hmm. So they're cracking home runs all day long. Now, you have other builders that could be targeting around 500, 600, 700,000. Ooh, excuse me, that was rude.
It was a nice one.
Yeah, thank you. Ooh, this smells. That's gross. Sorry about that, guys. Now, if we look at builders that are around the 700, the 800, 900 range, right? You can literally walk in today, and I remember 3 weeks ago walking in, I couldn't even get a lot. Now, they're like, hey man, go ahead and put a deposit. We want you. So it's going to be case by case basis, right? It depending on the income level, right? That determines the purchasing power, right? And we know that the average person here makes about what, $56,000. My question to you is that if you were making $56,000 a year, would you want to have a payment that's at $1,100 a month, or would rather have the same house with a payment at $2,200 a month for the same house?
$1,100 a month.
Of course. You see, I'm setting you up there.
Yeah.
That tells you that it's common that people always want a lower monthly payment, right? So that's what they always flock to. So that's the reason why that sector, that market is so high demand. Okay?
Yeah.
The other thing I've noticed is that a lot of builders now are starting to send me emails, replying back and say, we will give you a higher percent of co-op. Now, what is a co-op? A co-op is where if an agent like myself brings you, the buyer, to the builder and we put a deal together, I represent you, but I get paid a fee. It could be 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% of the base price, right? When the deal closes. Now, I noticed that 3-4 weeks ago, it was so high demand just to get into a home, builders were no longer really paying real estate agents. Now, I've gotten so much emails as far as if we bring them or bring the buyers to the builder, now the commissions are even higher now. Also, depending on the builder, I've noticed that there's a lot of standing inventory. So if you are planning on purchasing a home, right, there are standing inventories, which we call spec homes. What are spec homes? Spec homes are where builders will pre-build the home speculating these are the items that you'll pick. Because a lot of people out there want to move into a home that's already ready versus waiting months and months. Now, the average timeline about 4 weeks ago when we got into a home, right, for around 2,400 square foot home, it literally took us about 6 months to build. And that was pretty quick. Now, it's about 8 months, okay? Some of the challenges that I've had conversations with the superintendent is material. So today, we did a frame walk for a client that was actually out of state, okay? As you do a frame walk, typically what happens is the superintendent will go ahead and set up the inspection for, or schedule the inspections for installation, right? However, that's not done because the materials of the installation is backed up. So there's a lot of delays. One delay can hold back 3 or 4 trades. So that's the reason why we went from 6 months to 8 months, okay? This market is like this right now, all over the board. Joey just sent me, and Joey is the operations manager. So if you guys are interested, right? If you guys are interested in becoming a real estate agent, I'm going to have a link in the description below, or you can reach on out to Joey. We are taking on some new agents, so just keep that in mind. Now, Joey did send me an email, right, just to let me know that an offer that he had submitted today, he got beat out by waiving the appraisal and $25,000 over the asking price. Okay? So it is case by case. Now, in addition to that, if we take a look on the resale side, a lot of these sellers, you're looking at me like you're blank right now.
I'm listening.
Okay, you paying attention?
I got all of it right here in the middle.
Okay, all right. So right now, the sellers, there are a price reduction that's happening, right? So how do you know? So once your agent sets you up on a home search, right, you're on this drip system, you'll see that a lot of these sellers are doing a price reduction, a lot of them. Now, that doesn't mean that the market is softening. It's starting to stabilize and correct where it needs to be. But it's still, remember, 12, 20, 15% higher from year to date. Right? So the market is still hot. So don't be misled, because remember, real estate depends on the neighborhood, the location, the subdivision, the master plan community. So there's a lot that is involved. It's case by case, right? We went to Detroit, something different. We went to California, something different. Hawaii went to something different. So let me give you a story. Last week, had a client. We looked at a home. We did a full video tour. This is a service that we also provide to as well. This is a generic cheap plugin, so keep that in mind, right? So we did the video tour. They said didn't like the home. So we went back out, and the home was listed, I think, about like 1.1 million or something like that, right? Didn't like the home. They came on out physically. We decided to go look at the home. They liked the home.
Okay.
When they came out, the seller did a price reduction to $1,075,000. Okay. So the concern that the buyer had was, oh, look, they're doing a price reduction. I'm seeing a lot of home price reductions. Can we get it lower? I said, probably not. Okay. Because they dropped it now to the price where it needs to be to sell it. Because that's what happens. A lot of times the seller will have a conversation with the agent, and they always overprice it because they think the home is worth more than what they think it is, right? And I'm guilty of that too as well, because it's my house, right? So basically, they wanted to write an offer. So by the time we went to go write an offer, guess what happened to the property? It sold. Very disappointing by dropping it down $25,000. So again, seller starts a little bit high, but the motivated sellers are going to start to realize this thing is not moving. Now they're going to take advice from their agent. Sir, this is where you need to be. They drop the price. Boom. Now what happens? It moves, right? So, I mean, that's not a big fluctuation, right? From 1.1 to 1.75,000 or 1,075,000, right? That's not a big swing. Now, if you took a home that was at, 400,000 and dropped that down 25%, that's a pretty big swing.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much all I have of what's going on in the real estate world today. But now I want to get into the financing with you, Dan.
Okay.
Talk to me, bud.
Well, I mean, what do you know about what's happening with rates, inflation? What do you know about it? Because I know you do your research.
Okay, so rates are swinging by 1/8 of a point today. And also, refinance is pretty much all-time low. Buyers are coming in. I don't know. I'm just making that stuff up.
No, that's actually right.
Is it really?
That's funny.
Sound really good. Talk to me,
Call
brother.
now. No, I think people kind of know what's going on out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got their ear to the ground,
They do, but you know what? We want to hear it from you, from the expert, and also, you know what's going on here in the Las Vegas housing market. So that's important. Just because they read what's going on in online around the country, that doesn't mean it applies to us. So you got the boots on the ground. Tell us exactly what is going on.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the programs that's come out. So there's been numerous situations. I wouldn't say situations, but 2 times over the last couple of months, they're trying to introduce that $15,000 tax credit.
Okay, let's talk about that. What is that $15,000 tax credit?
So they keep revising it. So back in 2007, 8, and 9, they do it to promote people to buy homes, first-time home buyers.
That was the Obama thing, right?
Yeah.
Or was that the Bush, I think? No, it was the Obama, right?
It was the Obama thing, I believe, yeah. So You would pay it back over years, right, of getting that
That's
tax.
where they got me, because let me tell you this.
Did you do that too?
I did this, and I was a sucker for this, because you know why? I was like, okay, I'm going to get the $8,000 or the $15,000, and I thought I did get it, which is I did, but every year I had to like repay taxes back on it, so I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, so you look at the situation, and you're like, well, with the whole tax thing that they're talking about, is it really going to help buyers? Let's be honest and let's be factual. Like, will it help people in other regions? Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you compare it to Las Vegas,
well, depending on the price point, right? Yeah.
It's a location too. Like, if you're in Vegas and you're going up against people, especially in a market where supply and demand is, supply is low, demand is high, who's really going to take that offer unless it's the only offer?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's a bad deal, but I think it's going to help. Is it going to help maybe for votes? I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a politician thing for votes. I don't know. You also look, they have a new LIFT program that I want to talk about. It's called the LIFT Act.
Okay.
And this is a program for HUD to sponsor low fixed rate 20-year mortgages. And it's really to help people that have low income, right?
Okay.
To get into houses.
What are the criteria when you say low income?
Well, they don't have a ton of criteria, but it's a 20-year mortgage, which helps with a better interest rate or a lower interest rate to help with the payment.
Oh, 20-year. Wow.
They're talking about it's a 20-year mortgage. So it's another thing introduced. Now, is it passed? It's not been passed.
Okay.
So it tells me, a lot of the Democrats and a lot of the Democratic Party are trying to support and help people get into houses.
Yeah.
Depending on location, depending on where you're at, is it going to help with that position by getting this program? HUD's going to sponsor it. It's Ginnie Mae. So if they do pass it, it's an FHA situation.
How's that going to work when let's just say you have an income of $30,000? How are you going to qualify for the median price point today at $405?
Well, that's the point. Is we don't know all the data on it.
Yeah.
But is it going to be a location thing, like you can only buy in this location type thing,
which
right?
is like that NACA program, which
Similar.
is, for me, I felt like it didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, I think there's buyers out there for it, but you also got to look at the market and you got to look at the demand, and is it really going to be something that's going to support and help? People have to understand, like, these programs come out, and I'm not saying politicians don't know what they're talking about a lot of times, but they're also not in every market. They're not in the trenches seeing what's going on. So would it help some people? Sure. Is it going to help what they think it would be? I don't know. You look at this market, there's not a big appetite for people that are doing down payment assistance or getting tax credit and stuff like that, because what do people typically have when they have tax credit? Minimal assets.
Yeah.
So that now they can't come above price, right? So then there's going to be issues there. Some of the stuff I want to talk about too is about the housing situation here. So I was also looking at across the country, they had 24% of homeowners were getting multiple offers, more than 4 offers.
Yeah.
Okay. I looked at some of the data here in Vegas, and we were at over 100%. It was like up to like 110, 120% for people that were making offers over list.
Yeah.
We've come back down now. So you look at August is starting to get more towards that 100%. Now you go back a year like you were doing here we were in like the mid 90s. So it's not that far off. People were still getting 95% of what their offer was going back. It just means that the market could be slowing down. I'm not sure. Obviously, we're starting to see that correction.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Some of the stuff that goes on, you look at inflation. Now, we know it's a big problem. I think the Fed's really starting to look at that. We were talking a little bit about inflation. How would they fix inflation? They would raise interest rates.
Yeah.
Well, they're still buying $100 billion worth of bonds, right? The news comes out and they kind of fudge that a little bit, which they do with a lot of stuff. But that's important because if you're buying $100 billion in bonds, let's say they're buying, a crazy amount, they're doing this to keep interest rates low. So it's kind of like a pull effect where it's like pull one side to make the other side work type thing.
Yeah.
They have to service that debt, right? So let's say you're spending $100 billion in buying in bonds or mortgage-backed
securities. You're going to have to pay that back?
Well, there's interest off that.
Yeah.
So the Fed doesn't want to have people in place collecting that interest because as that goes up, they have to collect more interest and pay out more.
Then they're going to have to print more money. Yeah.
So all of these things that's going on, it's a very interesting position. I don't feel that rates are going to go up. I think they're going to slowly go up, but I feel because of what's going on,
they can't go up, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah, 2020. Well, they're talking about raising the Fed's fund rate 2022.
Yeah, eighth and a point doesn't make a big difference. But what I'm saying is they ain't raising this up by a point, because if they do, next thing you know it, this is what's going to happen.
Well, look, this is all like crazy data, right? But they've been doing this since 2008. They're whatever the interest is, they're using that interest that they make off of buying the mortgage-backed securities and buying more mortgage-backed securities and bonds.
That's crazy.
And it's just a cycle.
Shouldn't that be illegal?
Well, when they say taper, they may taper, but they're not going to stop buying those bonds because it drives the market. It keeps rates low. But what's interesting is we're in a position right now where you have inflation. Core PCE came out. We're over 5.
Okay.
Right? Nothing really went up, but nothing came down. It's telling me that if they don't start to see some information that inflation is starting to come down a bit, they're going to have to do something. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, because that next thing is, hey, we're going to raise rates, right? Well, if they do that, and let's say they buy more bonds, they buy more mortgage-backed securities, now the Fed's in a position they don't want to be.
I want to go back. You said core PC or core
PCE.
Okay.
That's the inflation report, the Fed's favorite inflation report.
Okay.
But it didn't do anything.
So it's not the CPI then?
No.
Okay. I just want to double check.
So basically what I'm saying is everybody's hoping and looking that, okay, inflation's going to come down. We're not going to worry about having to raise rates. They may have to do that if this doesn't change. And I think the Fed is really starting to look at this as this could be a problem. It's not glaring yet, but it could be a problem.
Okay. What else you got?
What else do I got? Let me pull. I know you know this stuff, but I looked at this stuff because I'm not familiar with it. But it's interesting because in Henderson, you can buy a home for, I think it was $266 a square foot on average. Right?
That's a lot.
I know. So check this out.
Yeah.
You compare that to SUMMERLIN in the highest end, $333 a square foot.
That's crazy.
So you look at it like that and you're like, why is there such a big separation? And maybe you can answer the question. Why is there such a big separation?
Because it's a master plan community. And what happens is with these master plan communities, right? People always want to be in a nice area. They say they want schools. Like with master plan communities, you can kind of dictate and control the community, right? Yeah. So as you control and you dictate the community, if you have like the best schools, right? That's like one of the driving forces, right? Because all the parents, right? Everybody wants their kids to go to a good school, right? I'm not saying it's like the safest place because we can't say, hey, Summerlin's safe. But it's when you have control of a community, you can literally control that environment, right? Henderson, right? Population is over about 380,000 versus Summerlin. I think they're at like at 280 now, right? Or something like that. One's a city and one's a master plan community. Two different things. Right? So the city of Henderson is very choppy. I mean, we do have our master plan communities out here, you know. Obviously, they got the Green Valley, Anthem Country Club, and stuff like that. But nothing dwarfs Summerlin. Summerlin has over 22,000 acres of development land. So think about that. You literally control a population here in Vegas.
Well, they want to be their own city.
But that's basically what it is.
Yeah, and I got a couple things to say, but I think the desired part of Summerlin is off the charts because Henderson's a really nice place. You can get still a good bang for your buck in Henderson in this type of market, depending on what you're looking for. In Summerlin, you got no shot. Yeah. I mean, you really just got to pay the premium or you're just not going to get
Well, here's the thing. You can live in a box and you can buy a home up there right now, right? Because I did a full video on this. Exact same home. Let me give you a scenario, okay? There was a floor plan by KB Homes. It was the 2464 model, one of the most popular models, okay? And I looked at that home. I did a full video tour. It was out in the Southwest. It was for $450,000. That day, I went to go do the exact same home, same floor plan, same builder, for $200,000 more.
And listen,
and that's what you're paying for. Is the
demand
dirt.
is there.
Exactly.
The demand is there. If somebody's willing to buy it, they're going to buy it. One other thing I wanted to say is this $5 trillion stimulus package. I bring it up all the time. I wonder what impact it's going to have on this economy because it's going to raise taxes. Yes, it's going to put spending out there where they're going to supposedly put it for roads and just many different things, but they're also going to raise taxes. And
well,
it's also
they don't have a choice. They have to raise taxes to pay off the debt that they are borrowing. By also doing that, that increase inflation, right? That's the reason why we're going out today. Everything is just so expensive, and basically money's like free money. Like, I never thought I would be the position that I'm in, and like, if I look at what's going on in the buyers that I'm working with, people got money out here. It's unbelievable. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. And I see what's going on with the economy. The problem is that they could definitely raise the rates. They're going to have to raise it eventually. But the problem is that they can't, right? Because if they do...
Well, they're not going to completely taper. And I think that's what I was trying to say. Is when you go back to what I was saying is behind the scenes, they're going to say, well, we stopped tapering. Mm-hmm. They never stop tapering because they're taking the interest and paying for more mortgage. It's almost like, okay, we collected this money and we're going to recycle the money we just did so we can keep this engine going. Yeah. That's what they're doing. Now, the other thing I want to bring up is we've had news that's come out that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to be supposedly increasing their loan limit, county limit, to $625,000. Wow. So now why that's important is because usually about early part of December, if you're out there looking for a house, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will honor that. Okay. So if you're looking for more of a home, let's say you're tapped out at 548, 250. If you're trying to buy a house and let's say it's 600, now you only have to put 5% down. You don't have to put the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll save more money. Let's get a good question here, Dan. Find a good question from the audience here. Oh! Look at that, baby. $2 for Mega Shield. What do you think about the future new home build like Sky Boo? What do you think?
What do you think about the future of it? Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really done any data on it.
Me neither. I don't even know. I can't answer that question.
I can't really answer that.
Okay, let's get a good question on here. Let's get a good one. Find one.
Keep on going up.
Okay, keep going up. We'll stop it right about there. Come on, let's get a good question.
Let me see here. Best to contact a realtor. I'm sure that you could recommend one. What do you do, Caesar? Oh, I don't know. That looks like he's answering something. Okay. I love your tours. Some people say you're not very professional, but I think of it and looking good at the house with knowledge, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I can't, please everybody. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get another one here.
One-story homes over 2,000 square feet seem to be high in demand. Harder to find, especially for buyers that are retiring and don't want stairs.
Oh, yeah, the single stories. That's a good one. You run in across this all the time. A lot of people think the two-story homes are going to be more expensive than the single. But remember, the single story is more because it takes up more land. In addition to that, it's just more desirable because I tell you what, as you get older, you start to realize like my next home, it's going to be a single story. I'm not doing two-story, right? Because you get tired running up and down the stairs. I'm not saying that I'm old. I'm just saying it's just from experience.
I mean, look, it's convenience too. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Age is definitely important, but I know having a one-story home is very convenient. Moving stuff, you know what I mean? Hey, Chakits, I've been watching you for a long time. Love your content. Just graduated the PD in Vegas Police Department and would love you to help me buy a new construction home. Dave G.
Oh, thank you very much. Give us a call or just shoot me an email, DM me. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Whenever you guys got some free time, I want you guys to check out Dan French. He has a show every Tuesdays and also every Saturdays. I'm going to have that in the link in the description below. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out our second channel, Chakits 2.0, that has to do with everything with real estate. Learn how to make money, financing, just if you want to get into the industry, be a wholesaler, real estate agent, we have it all. Also, check out our Instagram too as well. We would really appreciate if you go ahead and follow us. Other than that, until next time.